Hey guys, welcome back to my channel. This is the makeup look that we are going to shoot for today, so let's just get started. We are going to be using the Huda Beauty Rose Gold palette. The first color we're going to use is Sandalwood, and we are just going to put that right into our crease. And this is a perfect crease shade for me. I love this as a transition shade. I think she did a beautiful job by adding it into her palette. And the next shade we're going to use is Henna, and we're going to add that into our crease just to give it a little bit more definition and to define where we want our shadows. And I do define the outer V as well as the inner corner, and I just drag it a little bit onto the lid shade, again just to give it a little bit more dimension and to lay out the foundation for the rest of the colors. And the next shade we're going to use is Cocoa, and it's a warm brown color, and I'm going to add this strictly to the outer V. I do drag it into the crease a little bit, and I do drag it along the lash line just a little bit as well, but I'm predominantly adding this to our outer V just to define it a little bit more. And the next shade we're going to use is Black Truffle, and I'm going to lay that right on top of the cocoa color, and again just to give it a little bit more depth since we are going to be using a little bit darker colors on the lid. And I always check to make sure both sides are matching. And the next shade we're going to use is Dubai, and I'm going to use my finger to place that all over the center of my lid, and I do kind of blend it into the crease a bit as well as the outer corner. Dubai is one of the textured shadows in her palette, so they work best with just applying with your finger. And then of course you want to make sure you blend everything together. And the next shade we're going to use is Blessed, and I'm using that on my inner third of my eye just to blend all of the colors together. I wanted to give it kind of an ombre effect, kind of not an ombre effect, but I also wanted something to blend it together. And now we're going to use some black gel liner to draw out our wing. And here is going to be the best step-by-step that I can show you guys when I do my wing liner. So I like to draw out the wing first, and of course I like to compare it to the other side just to make sure I'm kind of even as best as I can be. And from the tip I like to drag it into my eyelid and then kind of sharpen up the edge a little bit, and then I'll connect it to the remaining of my eye along the lash line. And then of course you just want to fill in as necessary, however thick or thin you want your wing. I was going for a subtle wing, I guess. It's not too thick, but it's not thin, not too bold either. Now I'm going to apply some false lashes. This is from Eyelure. I think they're the style Opulent. It's one of their newer styles, and this is a newer pair for me, so here I am sizing it up on my eyelid, and then I cut off the excess, and then I put it on one more time to size it up and cut off whatever else I need from the outer corner. Apply some lash glue, let it get tacky, and I like to stick it on the middle of my eye, pull the outer corner onto my lid, and then as well as laying down the inner corner just to make sure everything is nice and it's nice and flat on my eyelid. I don't know what I was trying to say there. And then I like to go in with the tweezers just to make sure everything is nice and secure. I like to push it into my eye, push it along my lash line a little bit. And now I'm going to prime with the Smashbox primer water. I'm still getting used to it. I don't know if I like it or hate it. And then I'm going to use the Too Faced HangoveRX primer as well as foundation. I'm using the Makeup Forever foundation stick. And I'm using just this oval brush. I bought a 10-piece set off of eBay. I don't know if it's a dupe for the Artiste brushes or not because I've never tried them before. But I do like this brush. They are a little bit flimsy, and I do have to apply as less pressure as possible, but I think they blend out the product beautifully. I don't think it soaks up too much product, so I do have to go back and add just a little bit more because I am going for a little bit fuller coverage with the foundation. So I'm also trying out the Makeup Forever stick. I haven't decided if I like it or hate it yet. Next, we're going to put on some concealer. I am using the Tarte Shape Tape, and I'm using two shades. I'm using medium here to conceal, and then I'm going to use light to help highlight. And again, you don't need this much concealer using the Shape Tape just because it is a full coverage concealer, and obviously I went a little overboard, but that's okay. And then I am going to blend this out with a smaller oval brush. Now, I think with the concealer, because I might have used a little bit too much, it wasn't streaky, but it definitely left a little bit more product than I would want it to be on my face. Again, that was just because I used too much product, and maybe if I used my beauty blender, it would have soaked up some of the excess, but this brush definitely did not soak up any of the product, and it just blended all of the product beautifully along my face. But it did kind of give me a little bit too much product than I am used to. And then I'm going to set my face with the Laura Mercier Secret Brightening Powder. I just picked this up and I'm still testing it out. I think I like it for my under eyes. It's a very finely milled powder. I don't know if there's flashback with this or not because I haven't had any flash photography. And then I ended up setting my entire face with this powder just because I'm lazy. I didn't want to get another powder out to set my face with. And then I'm going to use a bigger round brush just to kind of smooth everything out, get all the excess off, make sure my entire face is blended. And the next thing I'm going to use is the primer water just to spray my face again to set the powder. I picked up this trick from Lauren Curtis and I absolutely love that technique. And now I'm going to contour with the Benefit Hoola bronzer just to carve out my cheekbones just a little bit, not too much. And then I'm also going to use this to warm up my face a little bit, so just to balance out the contour, I'm going to add some to my forehead, my temples, and underneath my jawline. And for blush, we are going to use Luminoso by Milani, and I'm just going to add that to the apples of my cheekbones. I think this is such a pretty blush. It's so lovely, and it just looks really, it makes your face look a little dainty, and it's really nice when you're going for a soft look. For highlighter, we're going to use the Makeup Geek X Kathleenlights, and I'm going to use the lightest shade and the darkest shade. I don't know what they're called. I'm sorry. I'll list them down below. And again, I'm sorry if this palette is sold out. I don't like to use things that you guys can't get your hands on, but I also like to use things that I like as well. So it's a double-edged sword. So I'm just placing this on the tops of my cheekbones, a little bit on my temples, and the bridge of my nose, and my cupid's bow, you know, the typical places. And And for lips, we're going to use Kathleenlights X Ofra in Havana Nights. This was a total accident, but I wanted to do a very bold lip, and I think this was definitely fitting for this makeup look. It kind of reminds me of ColourPop's Notion, now that I'm looking at it on screen, but I think it's a beautiful wine red color. And because I didn't want to go for a full-on matte look, I am going to use Jouer Skinny Dip, and I'm just going to add a little bit to the center of my lips, and then on the top of my lips as well, and I'm going to blend it out with a lip brush, just because I don't want my red lipstick to transfer onto the doe foot applicator of that. So just blend it out so it gives it a nice little sparkle, a little something something. Well, you guys, that's going to complete today's makeup look. I hope you guys enjoyed it. Give this video a thumbs up. Leave me some comments in the comment section down below. Don't forget to subscribe on your way out. And I will see you guys all in my next one. Bye.